So I want to hit on the how narratives is changing. Because before the final, if you talk about Ole, it was going to be a different conversation.
Oh boy, this sound like a chest burning.
Nah. Kinda heated or whatever. This ain't Trent. Because I still vex about Trent, When I tell you, I still vex, like every day I go on this bird app. Every day I go on this bird app, somebody call it Beyonce app. Every time I go on Beyonce app, every time I wake up and go on this app, is somebody talking about some kind of slander where now they want to say, giving Trent props like Danny Alves didn't exist something. I like, dog, just get the little boy flowers now, boy. How hard is it to just say, you know what, Liverpool have one of the best right backs of all time, but anyway.
In this banter era, people can't.
Man can't do it, boy.
Nah, man can't do it. Good night again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Trifactor podcast. I think this is episode 18. Before we start, we're just going to do some housekeeping. This podcast is to talk about our passion, using our knowledge and our reasoning, a passion for football. Normally, three Trini guys. It's BiFactor tonight. BiFactor strikes back.
Bias.
So this podcast is to share knowledge about football, express our opinions on matters that could be tangential to football. Also, it is to bring awareness to local stars, past and present, even future. Maybe we should get into that one day, of the Isle of Trinidad and Tobago. So before you do anything else, remember to like, share, and subscribe to all our platforms in the link below. All right, let's get into it there. So, Andre, wild week so far. One final done, one to go. And in between that, a lot of transfer speculation, and not really transfers, but managerial.
All that transfers,
Managerial
boy.
whirlwind.
All that's transfers, boy.
All that's transfers.
Because all them thing change which players, If I'm like, for example, if Jose go a club and Pogba was gonna go to that club, he ain't going no more. So just
Pogba wasn't going romano.
But I just say, all the manager changes could affect which players going where. If Pochettino leave PSG, is Harry Kane really going PSG?
What's not that crazy,
Boy?
The back is real.
Nah. That's normal scene for me, man. If you follow Syria in the 2000s, especially Palermo and them.
Because I didn't understand, like
same manager get hired and fired twice in the same season.
No, it used to be like horse. All right, especially with the players though. In England, you don't really cross the divide now, boy. In Italy, boy, you're crossing that divide 2 and 3 times on the road.
I mean,
playing for Inter, AC, Juve, and Parma, dog. That's crazy. But
Calcio.
The first one, Conte, boy. That was a shock. We hearing talks about Inter in dire financial straits.
Now, I don't know if you listen to Marcotti, Gab.
Nah, I don't really listen to ESPN FC.
Well, not even listen. If you just read him, I'm being very specific, yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't play around with that joke. The other one, but Marcotti.
Big up to Shaka though. Anyway.
Yeah, but Shaka big up, yeah. But Marcotti, I would say since Juve times, Marcotti warned about Conte had this thing where it's his way,
right,
or no way. And I'm talking about now with players, with his bosses.
Which is
his way. It's his way.
The man knows his worth.
So even going back to Juve, if he's saying, look, my vision for where this team needs to go is X, Y, Z, and them saying, nah, you had to wait 5 years for that, he gone. So For me, it was always a matter of time that he gonna leave.
Serious.
It was always a matter of time he gonna leave. Did I expect right after they win, dog? No. right after they win. And then, I mean, I tweet about, dog, the context is Mr. Conte. Where were you when everybody wake up on Monday and see, it was I guess in Europe it was a Sunday night. Here's this announcement about ESL.
Right.
Where were you? If all these clubs, including your club, trying to form a league because they ain't making enough money, they can't really sustain what they're doing right now with all this bombastic spending, whatever. How you come at the end of the season and say, nah, no cutbacks. I have a project I'm looking to work on here. I need to add more players. You want to add 15 more wingbacks or something, right?
15 more wingbacks, boy.
Dog, you should, for this episode, go pull up how much wingbacks the man have. The man have...
I'm going to try to name them.
Yeah, Perisic.
Right.
Look at it. Perisic, Kolarov, Damian, Ashley Young, Hakimi.
Yeah. He hadn't Victor Moses at that time. He left.
That's somebody. I say Ashley Young.
Yeah, it's Ashley Young.
It have two other men are missing. Whereas just like, wait, he did too.
He name started with B. I forget his name. He was always there.
Cool, buddy. Nah, I forget.
Italian.
But he's a man always want to buy players. He want to keep expanding, whatever. So hey, good luck to that man. I don't know where you're going. If I'm being honest, who's the team that still will be able to splash money?
This is with no knowledge. Yeah, men saying he headed for Real for sure.
Nah.
You don't think so?
Well, no, because Real had no money.
Real always have one. You mean the $500 million stadium?
Real had no money. They're trying to offload men who want their high salary. Real ain't spending such a big money.
Wait now, and then, was Arsene Wenger right?
About?
Or ahead of his time?
Arsene Wenger is always right. What the man
because remember it was
right.
In the banter era when the man was trying to keep in the black while building a stadium, and I was like, nah, take.
Arsene Wenger was always right.
I was one of them because I wanted players.
Arsene Wenger is always right with what he's talking about, though. That's why he could always come back and say, yeah, I scouted Messi and right. He always know.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going.
So what does that mean for the high value intermen? Lukaku and who else, boy? Martinez and maybe one of the defenders, Kane, who was supposed to leave long time, and the keeper is actually good. I forget his name. What to them men?
Handanovic.
Yeah, what them men going to do?
I mean, some men will stay. Some men is lifers.
Yeah.
Some men go out to get sell. What was the number they keep quoting as Anthony to 80 million.
Yeah.
I mean, 80 million is not plenty.
That is one player, dog.
If they shift around, they could sell Brozovic. They could sell, Sensi. They have some player, Barella. They have players and Italian players who talented could move.
Yeah.
Inter will be alright, I think. From a football perspective, I'm interested to see, okay, how much of this performance, how much of this success was based on the coaching, was based on the system working for this crop of players, and how quickly that could dissolve now. Because fair enough, you change coach, and I mean, it's not as if Inzaghi is a terrible coach or something. But
all right, coach.
But he don't play Conte ball.
Yeah.
He don't play with all these wing back men all the time. 17 of them. So
you got to sell 12 of them.
How is he gonna use Lukaku? So we'll see. We'll see what happens football wise.
On the note where this down to the manager, I think Conte may be giving Lukaku and then when a spark. He loves to win. That was Lukaku saying when he posts winning was first team. But I think Zlatan played a big part in Inter winning this league. Eh? You give Lukaku a target, and I think he focused in it. I think.
You think that? Anyway. You think he's that kind of player?
Horse.
Okay.
A lackadaisical Lukaku is some hit and miss, but you don't want to focus Lukaku though. Anyway, but that's just a hot take. Anyway,
that's hashtag narrative. You have your little narrative.
Yeah. Nah, he really started to put on. He put to the pedal after that. What's up is that? Anyway, I like it though. I like stories. Anyway,
Yourself.
what was the who else could leave? Poch going back to Tottenham. That was a weird story to hear though. I think that's just a rumor. I can't see it happening.
It's possible.
That two will win us. Can't
But
see
the
that
man,
happening.
what if the man hating managing in France? What if he is having a terrible time? And I mean, is he
I hear Neymar real hard to manage, yeah? And I hear Leonardo does be.
You serious or that's joke?
No, I heard in terms of it had to be his winner. He had to pan that team. That's
The
what
next
I mean.
one?
That's what I heard. Is that narrative too?
I don't know. Could be.
All right, probably.
Could be.
No disrespect though. Anyway.
Nah, but I see Poch come out and say Neymar and this star is real humble and thing, you do any little lip service and thing. But I mean, I think people take for granted, footballers, coaches, whatever. I mean, right. So what if his family having a hard time settling back in France? I know he played in PSG for a while and thing, but what if they're having a hard time at this stage of their life settling in there? And then, right, he realizes a mistake. I would say credit to the man if he realized he make a mistake 6 months later
was
versus
he fired
later.
or did he leave?
I think he got fired.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably a mutual consent thing, right? But I think he got fired.
Shout out to Kevin Samuels. Anyway, anyway, if Levy fire him, I think he coming back. You can see him coming back.
Yeah, what's it? Like,
if Levy fired him,
go and look up Palermo, previous owner and coaches, how much times he fired them, blast them in the media, and then come back in the same media and say, "Yeah, I was hot-headed, As he's Sicilian in there, right. So I'll bring him back, and it's over."
Okay.
This is
fair enough.
I don't think man gonna hold no big grudge like that. I tell all the Jose come back to Chelsea after he got fired. Zidane come back to Real Madrid after he leave in whatever way.
Yeah, true.
Mendes come back.
Yeah, true.
Maybe 6 months is fast, but it's happened.
True. You're possible. Right. Speaking of Zidane, sabbatical or somebody will pull him in.
I mean,
Juve? No, Allegri to Juve, I say most likely.
Allegri.
Our next man going back.
Which I find Allegri to Juve is fascinating because Real Madrid were very interested in him and he turned it down. The common refrain is you don't turn down Real Madrid and Barca when they come calling. And the man turned them down. Which is...
Well, Fabrizio in here we go yet, so maybe, it could happen still.
It could turn around.
Probably.
Nah, but Fabrizio said that coming.
Yeah.
The Allegri. So, Allegri going there, I don't know where Zidane going. Maybe. And I mean, I hear in Tottenham, I haven't heard Zidane with Tottenham. I've seen, what's this guy in Germany? Or is that, no. Or is that Ajax? Who's Ten Hag? Is that Ajax?
He's probably
I think it's Ajax coach.
Okay.
That's the name. So the other name I see, other than Pochettino going back to Spurs, it's Ten Hag and no, that was it actually. I didn't see nobody else. So last time we talk, I was saying, oh, what happened at Tottenham gonna change everything. Now with all the managerial shifts, that changed our whole narrative. Narrative gone. My narrative gone. So Harry Kane is not the biggest thing.
Conte jumped the brush and Zidane leave.
So Conte and Zidane jump in there. Yeah, that changed everything. And now you have even goalkeepers, Donnarumma leaving.
Where there? When they finally qualify for...
So Donnarumma leaving now. And of course, De Gea was probably leaving anyway. Or trying to leave anyway or whatever. So it's just...
Another narrative.
There's so much things.
The guy who left Arsenal, man, Gazidis.
Okay.
Remember, he's AC Milan executive now.
Okay.
Left Arsenal. Donnarumma leaving for free. That seems a bit Arsenalish to me.
Seems a bit Arsenal.
Why would you? How could you let? Oh, they had the man from my youth though. The man make them sign his brother. All that you invest and you still can't secure that man and sell him for some money at least.
You get 10 years out of him. You're satisfied. You're satisfied. You get 10 years. You're satisfied.
That's very
10 years of service. But all these players moving, dog, is very interesting. I don't know where men going. So I am adopting the stance of I wait for Fabrizio.
Yeah.
And everything else, just leave it alone because it's changing every day.
All right. I don't want to get him on name wrong. This guy with a weird move. Little coach.
Oh, Lille, yeah. I forgot his name.
Christopher Galtier.
Yep.
So Nice, I heard this was already approved during the season before the
Yep.
A weird move.
Yep. So I mean, Fabrizio again. So I went reading Fabrizio what he talking about, and he's saying how listen, this was discussed long before title.
Yeah.
And all right, some of the discussion is about Lille. Basically, they're gonna be a selling club, right? So they're gonna sell out half these men.
They are.
All right,
they had Orba and Jorginho, Hazard, all those guys come from Pepe.
But I think even from this season, right? I think somebody has been
Sumari going Leicester.
Right, there you go. So they're gonna sell plus
Sanchez. He might get sold.
Suppose he gonna get sold again. He gonna try to revamp the career here.
Yeah.
But supposedly they also have financial issues similar to Inter. Similar to Inter, I guess they need money, so they gotta cut costs and thing. So
sells a lot of players for a lot of money. Where the money going?
I don't know though.
They sold us this man come from the Gabriel. They just sell real players house.
men paying in installments.
Oh yeah.
They have no money.
Hey, on that they have a clause with the doomsday clause that activate so they can't get no money, boy. All right. So who else moving? But I think that is it for the coaches. Yep.
My boy Sarri's still on the sidelines, boy. Nobody taking him up.
Sorry, boy.
Nobody taking him up. Real quick, he stock dropped fast, boy. It was
who else in Italy have an opening? Nobody. That is it. Everybody take somebody. I look sorry. You go back Napoli.
Well, Napoli sell. I think who they say Napoli looking at? Somebody.
Yeah, I saw the name, but I forgot who it was.
So, boy, there's just so much change.
Fabio, Conte from Porto, I think they were looking at.
Sergio Conte.
Sergio, not Fabio. Sorry.
Former Lazio and Inter player.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Next to Verona de la Peña. Yeah. Right, so I think that's it for managers.
Yeah. I mean, it's not more we missing. It's not too much. So, but interesting times ahead with this Euros. It will probably give some teams will probably make some moves right before Euros. Real smart now.
Talk a little bit about your hatred for summer competitions and.
I'll never forget, boy. Well, I'll say I'll never forget, even though I don't even remember the details for player. But I'll never forget. I remember Henry having a real good season.
Yeah.
And I think he was wearing the O2 shirt back then.
Yeah. That's 01, 02 though. That's if it's the same summer where Ronaldo won it. That's what I'm saying. The season 01, 02 or season 02, 03.
And is that when the shirt had the O2 on it?
Yeah.
So, man had a real good season in the league, in Europe, ting. Ronaldo did not have a real good season at Real Madrid. Is either it was at Real Madrid or like the season where he played half at Inter and
he was injured for a while and then he had a stellar World Cup and Real bought him.
Boom. So it's basically that season and Ronaldo win Ballon d'Or. And I was upset. I was real upset because I just like
Ori's my guy, but I love Brazilians.
Here's this whole season, a man. How you gonna have a man play one of his best seasons for how long a season is? 9 months?
Yeah.
Right? A man play right?
Yeah.
A man play best season of your career for 9 months. Here comes a man that play best for 2 months. And the man that played best for 2 months when the accolades for best player of the year and ting.
He won it in 2002. So that probably the 01-02 season.
Right.
So 01, 2002. That's where France get knocked out in group stage by Senegal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they might take that against him. Us millennials would say there's more to football than World Cup, but everybody before us, World Cup is it.
We'll say the World Cup is
listen,
2 months.
Listen. Statistically, which one is harder to win? Statistically, even though Ronaldo never won one. Statistically, in terms of per year, it's every 4 years. Champions League is every year.
Of course, statistically, the World Cup is harder to win.
That's what they go by.
Yeah, but statistically, it depends on what country you play
what country
for.
You're from, for sure. How much guns your country have?
And again, it has less to do with your individual footballing ability, because it's a cup competition, so it has less to do with your ability through a bad patch, a good patch. Yeah. Literally, dog, you have to show up 2 months, and your team had to be on fire.
The man beat Turkey at 2p, dog.
Yeah. Dog, and I hate it even more. I hate it even more because, right, if there's one World Cup I wish I could be at, was that one. I wish I could have been at that World Cup, seeing Ronaldinho and thing coming out first time. Ronaldinho, Rivaldo.
That World Cup was interesting. I think it was 5 o'clock in the morning to watch it.
It was real best though.
In Seoul.
And I print out a World Cup schedule with the matches and thing. And I was sitting down there scoring up thing and all.
I think we were in Form 6, yeah.
So it was real best, but that was the height of, dog, I hate these damn competitions, boy, because narrative again is take over. Michael Owen have a good what competition was that when he scored a goal against Argentina from
that was 1998.
Right. You have a good show in a World Cup. Michael Owen is the greatest English forward thing.
I mean, he was doing good before that.
I understand, brother. I understand. Landon Donovan played good for US in a World Cup. Landon Donovan is thing. You're on the same level as these men in Europe. Right? Basically, look how much. Who's let me see who Arsenal get from boy El Hadji Diouf.
No, we got a good player from that though. We got Gilberto.
Yeah,
he was pivotal. Man, you got Kleberson though, which was terrible.
Man, you get Kleberson. Liverpool get El Hadji Diouf. Right, men who bantered away into big contract, big.
El Hadji Diouf was our boss though. Take it back. When he drag it so.
I wish we had Colin on here.
Real men get by now. Salif Diao. When Liverpool, this man, Papa Diop went Fulham.
Yep.
Fadiga went to next team.
The amount of names you can call it. And we just think, and that's just you thinking about the African teams.
Yeah.
Even think about James Rodriguez Ascent.
That was a nice World Cup, boy.
He get by because of World Cup. Quick.
He had to get bored, though.
But it's insane. If you talk about what is the pinnacle of just like mainstream hype train garbage.
Nah, don't say garbage now.
It's garbage.
Be more respectful now.
It's garbage.
Nah.
Because the narrative is, you carry your team in the World Cup, dog. You cannot carry a team. That man had to be good with your dog. If they're not good, you're in trouble. If the rest of the team not good, ask Messi. If the rest of the team not doing their thing, if the rest of the team not doing their part, dog, you ain't going nowhere. World Cup is very hard to win because it's so much is circumstantial and who's your team and blah, who you play against, who you get draw with, whatever. Yeah. And it doesn't balance itself out over a season. It's 6-7 games. Yeah, 7 games.
Yeah, though.
So for how much accolades get attached to it, that's what, man, I hate it.
Right, so and you were saying like a narrative in terms of how much was a match play on non-legacy. Your word was what? Narrative?
Yeah, I think
so you could use that same way. So for me, Messi, like, but not so much millennials, but Messi not winning an international trophy. You know, he goes, man, Cristiano, even though he was on the bench for the final, whatever. But Messi not winning it, he was the best player in that tournament by far. 2014, I think. And then he go still be like, Messi can win a thing and cry against Chile and thing. So a match will go a long way, you know.
The only thing I'll give Messi shit about is how he's quit and come back and thing. You see that? I don't.
But if coaches could do it, why Messi can't do it?
Yeah, I don't do up in there. That ruined his legacy for me. Is why he quitting for though. Like,
the man cry, boy. The man have to retire, boy.
Cry and play the next game now, though. Relax yourself. But I don't buy into that. I don't buy into that narrative. Here we go with look, Ole Gunnar.
Yeah, talk it, man.
How you gonna tell me so? Literally, I could scroll through my WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And I was ready to be here for it, but I will talk anyway.
You might pop in sometime.
I will talk anyway, but. If I scroll through my WhatsApp, 2 weeks ago, the conversation around Ole is, there's no way you could say he hasn't progressed.
From this point of view, where's the demands on him? I don't think they'll be saying, look, you have to win a trophy, you're gone. He's made progress, which is progress from the last 3 or 4 years. If you go back further...
Look Shaw get better, look improvements everywhere, look confidence getting better, look we got ting. So now it's very positive talking about, well, all we need is these 2 pieces to add to the puzzle. Boom, we set. All right, here comes our final against Villarreal. Okay, what I will say as a football watcher or whatever is, okay, there's a streetwiseness of freaking Jose Mourinho's and them, where what you're good at is I know how to win one game when a game is on the line.
I guess that could be said for Emery, except with Arsenal. Maybe Arsenal is the problem.
And maybe Arsenal is the problem.
Yeah.
That's why, there's a common refrain. Finals doesn't be the good games, Finals doesn't be the best matches.
Yeah, just had to win.
Because you're winning the game. Okay. Manchester United, throughout the entire season, it should have been predictable. Unless they smash, Manchester United are not a streetwise team that, I want to be careful how I say it because they've gotten results. They've gotten important results.
He's good at keeping his job, getting results at pivotal time.
So they get results. They have turned I think they have the most points from being behind.
Yeah, 31. So is it 31? Or that away from home? I don't want to mix it up, but anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
But they have the most points from being behind and stuff like that. Yeah. Right. So they could come back on all the stuff. But the kind of game that is we're not gonna be in the game, it's not gonna go away, but we're still gonna win it. I don't think that's them.
Yeah.
So
there's a naivety to Rashford and them up front, and Cavani, I can't say naive. He scored a goal. Bruno had less impact. I don't want to just put it all on his shoulders. And to me, they played into Emery's hand. Man play the man, it was 1-1. The man took off Baka and brought on Coquelin.
Yeah, I saw that.
Horse. He was playing.
I didn't get to see it live, but I watched some things back in here.
What he was playing for.
But now the narrative changed to, look, Ole game management is not good enough. Whole season he doesn't make subs. Everybody know this.
Yeah.
Whole season he's make subs past the 70th minute. So that's not a new thing. That's not a new stick to beat him with all of a sudden. If 2 weeks ago you could say, no, he's the right man to build with whatever, how did that conversation change? Based on one game? Based on one game, you're going to decide now that the future of your club, we need to actually think about, is he really the right man? All right, fair enough. Not everybody's going to say that. But then some of the conversation now becomes how much more urgent some of these changes are and ting. 2 weeks ago, again, people were saying, there was does Manchester United really need Harry Kane?
I remember so this begrudgingly.
Do they really need Harry Kane? Because they have Greenwood and Cavani just extend, and they have Rashford and they have Martial coming back, ting. In the final, when they're struggling and ting, the conversation becomes, these players are tired. the narrative is the players are now tired and thing. You know, if you had a different, so it's just the idea of how I think, and it's the same thing I hate about the international competitions in the summer. It's the same thing I hate about kind of, and it's millennials again, kind of the value that you're attaching to getting a cup versus not. So you play the final.
Banter.
You play the final. All of a sudden, so literally, tell me this: if Jose didn't get fired by Levy,
when? Oh, okay,
and he won the Carling Cup, is it a different narrative? He's not finished no more. He's still now to win. Ting, and everything is fine. Like it doesn't make sense to put that much weight. And it's the same comment, right? Just as the summer is only 7 games, maybe 10. How much sense does it make to put that much weight on your assessment of success or not on that? It does not make sense.
Well, I beg to differ because I'm an Arsenal fan, and for years we get beat with that stick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the narrative that when Twitter fingers going, how much cup you win? How much cup your team have? How much Premier League your team have? When last your team win something? So it's not based on how much your team playing good football or progressing or actually watching the games and saying that team does really play good football and hard luck. Or this manager does bring about a confidence in players or he actually improved players. Did he win anything?
So
and I'll tell you that, sir.
So then how do you criticize Jose Mourinho then?
No,
I'm not saying you, but I'm saying how does that the person that views football that in that way, how do you criticize Jose Mourinho?
Well, like I say, he was the bane of many men, mainly because Twitter is like heavy populated with Man U men, one. And he was a serial winner who was dread. Don't slip wrong him. He'll hit it for 6. Yeah. Now that you're on the other side of the hill going down, men taking the kick back. So it's not really that he doing anything worse than any other coach, because the other coach is not winning and not getting that what is get back for them. Man. That was about is men taking this time to you're not winning, so I'll beat you with that stick.
It can't make sense, man.
I mean, on a human level, it can.
On a football
hypocrisy
level,
of people, the duality of men. I could use something to make my point one day, and the next day use it to mash up our next man point.
That's so. I tell you today. That's why, like, I started to appreciate Pep Guardiola so much more now.
Yeah.
Because I listen to what he's saying more over time. So, of course, when he now start making club, he talking a pack of Xavi garbage. They send on around a fire and
one
a
type
vigil
of
or
football,
something.
always.
Right.
This is the way.
But he get wiser in terms of, dog, football is so much margins. I like what he talk about in that Rio interview. You know, this shot went around a man hip, and boom. If it hit the hip, different story. You know? So one of there's a writer who used to, I don't know if you remember back in the days, there was a website called The Run of Play. You remember that at all? Anyway. There's a guy called Brian Phillips, used to write Run of Play. Very, very high level, high Q, how he write it and thing. But I wouldn't say all that, but very high Q, how he write in all these things. And man, there's so much things he talked about that, look, it was so spot on with, all right, the idea of human beings, we love a narrative. And I think he write one where he talk about, like, you know, if he scores this goal, it means he slayed the dragon and get the princess and ride away, right? And ting. If he missed that goal, it means he was slain by the thing and blah, 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 legacy. Yeah. So, I mean, I can't deny that is the truth. I can't deny that it's true, right? The whole idea of, so if you even think about R9's legacy, here's my controversial take.
Hey, be careful.
I'll be careful here. But if R9 did not win that World Cup with Brazil,
Yeah.
if R9 did not break that scoring record with Brazil in World Cup, his narrative would sound more like Robinho. People will be talking.
So far?
People will be talking about him as definitely very, very talented, but there's this sensation of wasted potential and what could have been and blah blah blah. Because he didn't do it. Right. And think about how crazy that is to say that R9, is a what could have been. Is he? And based on what? Based on 7 games in 1 World Cup, where he was fortunate that Ronaldinho was there.
And
because
Rivaldo.
If Ronaldinho and Rivaldo was there and Gilberto Silva was there, like imagine
Lucio,
if literally if I change that squad,
Roberto Carlos, Cafu.
If I change that squad and I put so no Rivaldo is there, no Ronaldinho is there. If instead I put, I forget who, because man, Brazil had a banter squad very soon after.
Kaka on the bench.
What was the squad Brazil had where there was
2006,
Fred?
Zeriboto with Fred?
Yeah, Fred was up front.
Oh, Fred! With that
Fred
Joe.
was up front. Right. Just imagine R9 having to play with them, man. Story change immediately.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's, and it's just, dog, I can't get over how insane it is to think about, okay, my opinion of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I said it in a episode, was he is a man manager. He's shown himself to be very good at man management. He can get the best out of you mentally. He's not really training you on tactics and changing your football level in terms of your football education, but in terms of your professional brain and how you approach the psychology of playing, and kind of like he's doing very good at that. Okay, that didn't change with 1 game. That is what he's still good at. So next season, if Manchester United want to improve, the plan needs to be the same thing it was all season, which is you need to get better players, and you probably need to work on your technical coaching staff. That's what you need to work on. Not change Ole because now he's wrong because of that. Not now we need Harry Kane when we didn't need him before. Not now we. How did that change in a game just because Emery played 2 banks of 4?
Which he always does.
Emery played his 2 banks of 4 sitting deep since minute 20. That change in narrative. Like, nah, man. Madness. You don't mind the narrative though.
2 things. My thoughts. I think everybody knew.
One more fair.
Yeah, the further the game got, the more likely Villarreal would win.
Right.
Like if Manu didn't come out and run them off the pitch,
second half,
I think men was saying like no in general, like if they didn't get that edge on them and hit them 3 or hit them some goals, I think men was saying we can't. First of all, they have nobody on the bench. If it was
Manchester United bench, right? Yeah,
it's like it doesn't matter. What matter is not.
You gotta bring on Fred, but
Fred.
I mean, we say that, but they have the players that they bought on the bench.
Who?
So they bought Donny, they bought Tellers, they bought Daniel James.
When you put it like that,
they bought Donny, Tellers, Daniel James.
When you put it like that,
so the players that they bought were there to bring on. So. But when you watch it, I remember watching. I remember the game going on. I wasn't watching it, so I scrolled on the thing and I'm like, "That's the bench. That's who they had a call on right now is Fred."
Oh yeah.
They had to figure out Donny. They never figure out Donny whole season.
Rashford boy, he needs to get more clinical boy. Something.
So I was trying to say to Zwade last episode. All right, I repeated myself, but
I think he didn't play bad enough. But
I think people are forgetting. And I said this as it was almost like a criticism of Alex, but it wasn't a criticism of Alex. But there's a narrative that, here we go, narrative. Alex Ferguson. No. But Alex Ferguson is able to turn a donkey into a stallion and all kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Manchester United teams under Alex Ferguson did not have a set of donkeys, though. Yeah, there was 1 or 2.
No, the 1 or 2 was surrounded by racehorse, thoroughbred.
When you watch them players they had, so I think, dog, the biggest one, and I kept saying it last episode, Wayne Rooney was a bona fide superstar player, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think people we witness a youth.
I don't think
at
anybody
18.
underrates him though. Who underrates?
I think people do. I really do think people do. I think people don't appreciate just like similar to Messi.
Oh, since the man was 16, he was a thorn in my side though.
Similar to Messi, people seem to forget. Right. The regular narrative around a young player is to say he's very good for a young player. Like Mason Greenwood.
And that was Cristiano's narrative coming in. He had to change things.
I know, and Cristiano's an example of the regular path. Okay. Like it's for a young player, say they have this thing exceptional. Dog, Rooney wasn't a young player. The man was coming in and was like, horse, yep, this is it. This is the new Gaza.
I think the season before Invincibles, when they were trying to win, and when I say we could probably go and beat them this year, I think Manu won it. I did that. That was probably 01, 02 or 02 or 03. Rooney, a 16-year-old for Everton. Cutting and Bennett off the bar. And beat almost invincible Arsenal though. That's how good he was.
I say all that to say, I think, man, it's a sad scene, but I think similar to Milan.
Not to cut it, but I think I point that the man was saying in his debut for Champions League, when man asked him was nervous. The man said, no, I was ready to go because I wanted to play Saturday before.
I was ready.
And he didn't play me, but I was ready though. Anyway, go ahead.
If I just say I was ready. But Milan. I say all that to say, similar to AC Milan.
Yeah.
Manchester United fans, Manchester United as a club, Milan as a club, Milan fans. Basically, they've fallen so far off the heights, right? I don't think the fans have come to terms with, dog, you're not the old school Milan or Manchester United where...
I'll insert the man here, Manchester United fans need to...
but they used to the players on their team being of a certain level, so they used to rating them up as, they are this level. And they are not. The player, like right now, the players on Manchester United that are of the level of previous Manchester United squads is Bruno, Pogba in terms of quality. Yeah. But everybody else, they kind of more like, and Harry Maguire actually could fit. But everybody else is kind of like, they're talented, but they'll probably be on the bench. Yeah. They'll probably come off the bench. They'll probably be Park Ji-sung. They'll probably be... not Luke Chadwick, but the Darren Fletcher. There'll probably be these players who they have quality, but they're not going to start. They're not Paul Scholes. They are not Ryan Giggs. They are not Carlos Tevez. They are not Berbatov. They are not these level of
Ruud van Nistelrooy.
And I say that. And I say that respectfully because I actually like these players, right? So I like Marcus Rashford as a player.
Yeah.
But Marcus Rashford as a player.
Great positive attributes. A lot of pace, could play football, but he's not clinical.
But Marcus Rashford, the football player, is a level below what is the top. So when you compare,
not cutthroat.
So you compare, it's as simple as you look at. There's a level that Harry Kane is at. Yeah. There's a level that Kun Aguero is at. There's a level that Kevin De Bruyne is at. There's a level that Bruno is at. Marcus Rashford is not that level. Can he score goals like they can? Can he turn up moments like they can? Yes, he can. But he's not that level of player. And it's almost like Manchester United fans have been lulled into thinking, as long as you could reach the Rashford level, we good. We're doing fine. So they're looking at Greenwood and think that's the solution. It's like, Greenwood is not a solution. Greenwood is a prospect that should be getting minutes. Okay, come on, do your thing. All right, whatever.
Nice coming off the bench, Solskjaer.
So to look at the difference between, perfect example, Phil Foden versus Greenwood, right? Manchester City had Phil Foden playing good, showing the flashes, whatever, but he was benching.
Yeah.
Flat out, this season, still benching. Flat out, this season, he's probably playing every third game he plays, right? Greenwood, men talking about him as the actual solution. Yeah. Now, it does not make sense, and it's more of an indication of just the star has fallen a little bit. the stars fallen so much that the fans forgetting what their heights were. Or maybe I'm looking at it wrong, and they probably just have a mature perspective on what the reality is now. So they, you know.
I mean, part of the emphasis on building up academy prospects, that they take a lot of pride in that. I would too.
But they have to be good. They have to be that level. You can't just be saying academy. The class of 99 was not 99, class of 92.
Yeah.
Class of 92 was a very unique breed of, all right, how many times do you get so many people in that same class at that level, right? David Beckham is one of the best kickers of the ball you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah.
Of all time, anyone has ever seen.
Ryan
You're not going to just get that. Don't call Gary Neville there. Don't call
Gary Neville, Phil Neville,
don't call Gary.
Nicky Butt.
I retweet I don't know if you see Roberto Baggio
Nice.
have a anyway, people quoting him saying he said it, but I don't know if he really said it. But he say, oh, he's not a fan of, like, he's almost like he's saying there's a lot of nastiness on how people just talk about players on TV. So he don't deal up in being on TV as a pundit.
Right.
Because he's saying some of my colleagues, I remember them, they can't trap. But here they are tearing men apart about they can't do this and that. And he's like,
you say that?
He's saying it's unnecessary tearing down a player's ability. Right? And when he say that, the first man I think about is Gary Neville. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because I remember Gary Neville, the player.
Yeah.
Man.
Solid right back. Solid right back. Solid right back.
The man will get benched for EWB, you know. All right. Just saying. And even when I watch,
I think Man U fans might fight here for that.
And even when I watch how Sir Alex Ferguson talking to him, you could hear it now. You could hear the implication. Like,
no, but what's Sir Alex say? Gary, you're not world class.
You're not world class, but you work hard.
Yeah.
You had the mentality, so you're in the squad to show the world class men. Look, this man outworking you, dog. Here's this man that is clearly garbage compared to you. Clearly garbage compared to you. Working his way to your level, your capacity in the team.
Yeah.
Right? And anyway, I strain, but the point is the narrative at Man U, the narrative at a lot of these things, and narrative in football is way too fickle, and it's getting worse. And I'm saying this like a old man looking back in my days, right? But the narrative getting worse because there's a bunch of Twitter fingers and hot takes. Here's one infographic. Here's one thing. Here's this stat that says blah, and boom, that summarizes everything. And it's just like, though, that football remains. Sorry, go ahead.
I like narratives. One thing American sports culture is good about is called Captain E narrative and building up anybody. You can watch an E60 about a lady who rides a unicycle for the Golden State Warriors, though.
Yeah.
They showed that this weekend.
Yeah.
And based on narrative.
You like that?
I like narratives. I like the taking out a story out of a bigger picture and doing something.
I like the truth, though.
But not for the negative. Listen to this. Shout out to Peter Drury. Few months ago, Stamford Bridge was falling down. A bridge too far in debris for Lampard to reconstruct. The lamp in Lampard was off and darkness hovered over the bridge. But Chelsea are now in an epitome of efficiency under Tuchel with 2 out of 2 against Pep. They might start as underdogs against a sizzling City, but ignore the West Londoners at your own peril. Portugal awaits.
Garbage narrative.
Wait.
Right, go ahead.
It is a narrative.
Yes,
of
it
the
is
best to do it. And to me, in the journalist culture, to do that is a skill. It may be
but it's dishonest.
It may to get not necessarily dishonest. It is what you call it, journalistic. What's the word I'm looking for? You're taking liberties.
Yeah, liberties.
You're taking liberties to create something that to garner attention, maybe from an outsider who be like, hey, what's that man talking about there, boy? Modern football, I like these things.
Nah, it's garbage. It's garbage.
Why is garbage?
Because I'll pick apart that whole story, because what it does a disservice to, I find, is the profession of the footballers.
Okay.
So because now basically, okay, you're setting up this narrative that says Chelsea is efficient now. Are they? When Timo Werner has one of the worst conversion rates.
Right.
When okay, as a machine, okay, they beat Pep twice. What was the circumstances around beating Pep twice? One of them followed where he did a squad rotation. The next one, so it's just, okay, you're given a narrative that says, okay, this is how it went. But in reality, and this is the kind of stuff, I hate to say it, but this kind of stuff where Kwame Brown has a point, right? Where he has a point is, look, you're reducing an entire profession. And an entire profession is a lot of moving parts. So men playing with niggles. Men have their wife leave them. You remember the story about Ilicic, what happened with you, right? Men had their wife leave them. Men and this coach fall out big time behind the scenes.
Illnesses, deaths.
Who had COVID. Who all this stuff. And you want to reduce it into a fairy tale about, well, he came in and he was a champion since he born. And ting. And he was able to raise and elevate the... And it's... The reality about Chelsea, the reality of Chelsea, for example, was, okay, in my opinion, you watch this stuff, Frank Lampard, they set him up. They put him on a narrative that wasn't true either.
Yeah.
So he became a victim of a narrative they create for him. So they create a narrative of, here's this English player, Darlin, who has come through and is using his intellect now to show them how to be real champions. He's getting the most out of them, and here he's getting Tammy Abraham firing and all cylinder, blah, 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 blah. That is unsustainable for the reality. The man is a young coach in his freaking third year of coaching or something, and you're setting him up to be, he's Pep. He's not Pep. So when it go bad, here comes the other narrative, and this is the part that I hate the most.
Is the switcher narrative.
Right. How devastating the other narrative becomes. So all of a sudden, the same people, and that's the part that's sick. This is the part that's sick. These same people who just last week, when you come in the interviews, is softball questions because they like you and it fits their narratives then. The next week, they're asking you some of the grimiest questions, and that's why Naomi Osaka, right? Look, I ain't going. They're asking you the grimiest questions. Dog, some of these things, there was a period of time, when was it, boy? And I started sending you all a lot of this interviews from this guy who is a media man who does share his videos on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I was real drinking in all of them things. I was drinking in a lot of them. And I'm watching, I'm just like, don't say, think about you have a day at work. Imagine you go to work a day. And I mean, yes, I understand the jobs are different, the skills are different.
I understand. Right.
You have a bad day at work. Right? Something bad just happened. And imagine you have to face an interrogation on your feelings while it's still raw about something that didn't go well. Right? Just think about what that is.
Yeah.
And the cruelty of how that narrative swings from, okay, when it's a good game and it fits the story, what them questions look like. I've seen some absolutely softball interviews with, especially Ole. I find Ole gets a very nice treatment in general.
I mean, I think he controls it with his demeanor, maybe.
I agree. Some of it he has cultured, in fairness, right? So he has conditioned what that looks like. So he gets a lot of nice softball types interviews and stuff in the press.
Babyface assassin, though.
All right. Watch what happens now.
We'll see.
He lose that final. Depending on how the next season start, I promise you they're gonna kill this man.
For sure.
They're gonna, and it's the same thing I said about Tuchel, right? Remember, I text always saying he needs to be careful running him out so much. You're running your mouth and everything is good now. Once your results turn, these people are gonna eat you up. The narrative becomes, if you're dog. I just remember. Do you remember Pep first season in City? And the narrative was pretty ball, and he not adapting to English culture with second balls.
Big salmon.
Second balls.
Big salmon.
He not adjusting to second balls and defending. He needs to change his philosophy.
Yeah.
He needs to realize where he is and respect English football traditions and blah blah blah. Yeah. They were gunning to eat that man up. Yeah. Same people 1 year later. Hey, credit to him, he has adjusted, and Fernandinho is a god from above. Look, he figured out how to get Aguero firing. This man is a genius. We missed Pep this whole time. Who is our Pep? England need to find a Pep. Blah blah. Narrative change, and it's the same thing that happened with. It's the same. As a matter of fact, the next one I have for you, what I was saying to you earlier, I was going to bring up was Jose. There's a guy, and I remember seeing it on Twitter. It was funny. I love the internet, how people is pull out the receipts on you.
I don't know how. Anyway.
People just so they can get back. But
is that me sticking on you? Hold on there.
Say again?
I sticking or you sticking out?
Yeah, maybe it's me.
All right,
but anyway, we should log out and come back, or is our
almost it's a laptop and the internet thing here. They're saying it's mic unstable. Anyway, go ahead.
All right.
They're saying with Jose, and then
so there's a guy for the Athletic, a journalist for the Athletic, right? Yeah. So apparently he was a pro Jose man. So when Tottenham beat Manchester 6-1 in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
He come out with an article lambasting Ole, right? He come out saying, you see, this is the proof and the difference between a short-term manager and a whatever, right? Okay, that same journalist, dog. The same journalist. When Tottenham was top of the league halfway through the season, and then it dropped, right? That same journalist come back now with the opposite takes, the opposite narrative of draining players mentally, fall out of the backroom staff. Some players don't believe in it. There's negative football. He needs to get out. And it's just like, for me, that's the part that makes it dishonest. Because if you're going to step back and make an assessment, and I assume I guess this is where, fundamentally I have a problem. Is your job to basically speak on the flavor of the day and make a narrative out of the flavor of today? Or is your job to, you have more access to behind the scenes and understand what the project actually is? So is it your job to actually give you people on the outside the broader picture of the actual thing? And I feel as if that's their job. I feel as if your job is, no, you know everything. Give me the real picture so that I could better gauge what I think I'm seeing, put some context on my emotional reactions to losing 6-1. Okay, I'll put some context on it. Okay. No, they're not doing that. Instead, they're riding the wave. When is a 6-1?
I think it's a balancing act there. To put a narrative out, right? But you also have to write something that will get attention while it hot.
Yeah.
That's like saying, all right, let me say you bring it down to a layman job. Not a layman job, but an everyday job. You're on a construction site. Safety is number one priority. But you had to get the job done.
That's what they say.
No, but you had to get the job done. So while I'm not looking at better, do what you had to do to get that job done.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's
so it's a balancing act. So while they're writing, yes, they might say long term. You better head out the short term and keep your clicks up.
But it's like, in my opinion,
did I say white zaddy? Anyway.
In my opinion, what I can't stand, right? So for me, these guys don't do, I don't buy into or accept that it has to be that polarized. Okay. For me, you could still get your clicks with a more measured take. You could talk about something spicy. You could talk about the spicy. You could that same conversation that guy was trying to have. He could make the same point with his 6-1. He could still make the point that says, what the 6-1 demonstrates is a difference between the two managers and they blah, 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 blah. Sure, you could say that. But then please, put in that same article, put the pinch that says, however, this is one game.
Yeah.
This is one game. So we'll have to see because, okay, in this game, this person was injured and blah, and that played into the strengths of whatever. You don't have to make it this, here's this larger story where I'm concluding this is the case because it's all right. For me, it's almost like who says that the only way to get engagement or the best way to get engagement is to have people foaming at the mouth. What is your market research that shows that the other way does not work? Because for me, it's almost as if everybody went 10 toes in.
Yeah.
On we need to get the clicks.
I don't know if they I'm sure they have hefty marketing departments, but I'll say it this way. Let me bring up Brendan Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, which one sounds better? Brendan Rodgers was a slip away from taking Liverpool to the first first league title in how many ever years? Or Brendan Rodgers before the FA Cup final, he never gets any results. The team plays good, but if you take him, you may not win a cup.
Mm-hmm.
Which one sounds better? Which one might grab your attention?
Me, I ain't gonna read the second one. I'm not gonna read the second one.
Which one may grab most people's attention?
But here's what I'm asking. But who is to say why can't it be? Okay, you're right somewhere in between. Your story is questioning the legitimacy of brand. So basically, if you frame it as, let us review Brendan Rodgers' merit as a top manager.
Yeah.
Right? From being a slip away to never winning a competition. Right? You could cover it all. I mean, obviously, look, you could tell I'm not in a newsroom. I ain't had the snappy title right off the top of my head, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is you could cover those two things. You could cover he has been a slip away, but at the same time, depending on your club's profile, you need victories, you need titles. He hasn't won. He only recently won at Celtic, so it's something to consider. However, these are the other things that he has shown progression on and metrics on and blah, 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 blah. Why not present the whole thing? Because you present the whole thing. Okay, the people that like Bacchanal, they could take out their part. Yeah, look, you see the articles say he never win nothing and, he had the lowest win percentage out of these 10 men. Boom. Okay, they can still pinch out the Bacchanal. But why are you choosing to lead with he is a nearly man pretender. Ting. Why are they leave it there? So it's just, I can't stand. And that's, look, I really like what Naomi do. I really like what she do. Obviously, she's not the first. There's Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just here, so I don't. Right.
Kyrie had a battle against him too.
Of course. So I'm here for all of that because there's another narrative I'm talking about these days where, and this is a narrative from, it's a ridiculous. It's not even with the bread, to be honest. But it's the people who saying that because you paid so much money, it's part of the job for you to be abused, for you to deal with dog, for you to be abused.
Nah, the abuse part, nah.
You ain't see people talking about people trying to act as if Westbrook reaction to the man pouring popcorn on him is over the top.
Well, I see men talking about that and it's like, horse, you're not taking that in your normal life.
So there's, you paid so much, so you should get abuse. You get paid so much that, look, it's part of your obligation to be in the press.
Nah, not the abuse.
You get paid. You get paid so
part,
much.
Yes, but here my part on this. What in American sports, coaches, if you're losing by 50, but every quarter you might have to do an interview. I like, horse, if I lose by 50, I don't talk to you.
Yeah.
But I talk to you. I don't agree with that. Another thing, when Club Mother died, he lost the game. He had to talk. I was like, horse, I would not have spoken to you that day.
But I'll be honest, right? So like I want more. I mean, I'm here for this is the kind of violence I'm here for. So it's breaking up this idea of what it means to be in this profession. It has to exist in this way, whatever, right? So you're talking about, man, I really like watching back at Alex Ferguson. This is the thing I used to like about him the most. He interviews how he wants to interview. If he decide, I ain't talking to you, dog. He wasn't talking.
Okay.
That's why I miss LVG at Manchester United. He was an ex-man who would say, wait, what you just asked me? What? Right? So and it shouldn't have to come from elder statesmen.
Club does get them good too.
Well, but no, narrative, they just make him look like a madman. with the men with tenure, they at least used to respect, okay, he was in a tetchy mood or whatever, but they leave him alone kind of thing. Club did spin him into a madman. Anyway, but it's just this idea, again, another narrative. Because you think these players choose what these contracts look like?
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is, like any job, you don't set what the market rate is for the job.
Right.
Players didn't set, players get paid hundreds of thousands a week. Club said that.
But the journalists have an agreement that is like it in the contract.
I understand.
Right? So, but my thing is doing it before a game or before a loss, like, to me, that a difference though. I don't know how patient these people is. If I lost a game, I am not going to be a good interview.
No, but then it is the thing that's so paradoxical, like it's funny, is the same because of the nature of it's in your contract and you have to do it and you have to be professional and you have to whatever. It's why you get these flat, boring interviews. And then the same media just go on Twitter, go on Beyonce Twitter and come in talking about, they go up on Beyonce Twitter and talking about, oh, Harry Kane, this talk so flat, he don't talk about nothing. All right, but let me change gears there to the Champions League final, huh?
Right, there you are, 2 minutes.
So Champions League final, what you have?
What do you think?
Both of them can lose?
I prefer Man City to win.
Yeah, I prefer City to win too.
I want City to win as well.
So are they what?
I would prefer take City.
So are they what?
Man
City
getting lesser two evils, man.
City is the lesser Man U 2 evils?
I'll quicker take City.
A minute to go, guys. What we could say about the game?
Pep deserve it. Foden deserve it. Kevin De Bruyne deserve it. Aguero deserve it as his last thing with City.
Chelsea man go be ridiculous if they win.
Mahrez deserve it.
And that's the problem. That's the problem.
Ruben Diaz deserve it.
It's when you, because Aguero, I say, well, go out on a high, bro.
Yeah, Aguero not seeing that feel at all.
And to be honest, I don't want Timo winner to win anything.
Scotty winner, 87 minutes.
I don't want him to pull a Fernando Torres and have Gary Neville. Oh! Right, yeah. Where the worst man that could ever score. So no disrespect to the Chelsea man, but I don't want to see them win it because I don't like narrative, right? So that helps the narrative too much. Oh, Tuchel come in and take thing, and
you want to read the thing again now? You want to read the thing again?
Have a 3-0 record against
when
Pep,
the Lampard was out and Chelsea was in darkness.
We just get them things.
Hey, Jury's now say that dog. Jury put out a little tweet.
Well, let's get these things. And you know you think is it? Anyway.
But I mean I think City is gonna smash. I'll be honest with you.
I have no idea what's going on.
I'll be honest with you. I think the previous two games.
I won't say smash. Yeah.
I think the previous two games people are putting too much weight on it, not realizing it was very circumstantial what was happening. There was different games going on around it.
Pep was playing on beat. The only thing that happened is that he might overthink, but he was learning. He was learning. He was really learning.
Overthink and do his stupidness, you know, he can do them kind of thing.
Nah, Chelsea gonna smash. City gonna smash.